Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Exodus Entrepreneurs. It has been a little while since I have been here. If you can hear the wind in the background behind me, that is because I'm currently sat in front of a pond in Suffolk. Not my normal at all. I'm normally somewhere in Devon, but no, we are on the other side of the UK today because we're currently on a mission trip. Which is going wonderfully, but I thought I would take the opportunity to do an episode because I've been wanting to do this episode for at least a good 2 weeks now, but I just haven't had a chance to, and I was like, you know what, never mind about the wind, I'm not going to get a chance to do this if I don't do it now. But anyway, let's talk quickly about what's coming up in this episode. Today we are going to be talking about whether doors are opening for you, both as a person and as part of your business, because I think so often we struggle with opportunities are just not arising for our businesses or for us as people, and how can we deal with these, and why aren't we having opportunities thrust at us? Like, some people just seem to get opportunities, and then we're also going to be talking about, I know, 2 topics, look at that. We'll also probably be talking about some practical business tips, and then we're going to be talking about how often we end up self-sabotaging God's perfect plans for us because of fear and anxiety and different things. So we're going to be talking about that as well. Slightly different direction, but obviously we always want to keep God at the centre of what we're doing here at Exodus Entrepreneurs, so wanted to make sure he had the direction on this episode and all of them, of course, and that's just kind of the way I felt like we were going. So yeah, let's get into that. But first of all, if you're new here, hello and welcome. I am so pleased to have you here listening with us. We're Exodus Entrepreneurs, home to Christian-led teen entrepreneurs who are building businesses and trading low expectations for God-glorifying business success. Okay, I'm your host Esther, or ER Ware. I'm a 16-year-old Christian author, writer, entrepreneur, reader, Jesus lover, outdoor adventure. The list goes on and on and on. I'm so pleased to have you here. You can also find me on my own personal website, wordsbyerware.com, and you can find Exodus Entrepreneurs wherever you listen to your podcasts, and then at exodusentrepreneurs.com. The only place you can't find us at the minute is Apple Podcasts, because we're having trouble with Apple and can't get it up there yet, but I'm sure you guys can find ways around that. You can listen on YouTube, Audible, Spotify, Amazon Music, Substack, yeah, normal ones. Okay, let's get into the episode. So, today I really wanted to talk about, the whole point of this episode is why a door's not opening for you. Now, what do I mean by doors opening? Because I'm not talking about why your house door maybe has suddenly decided not to open on you. That's probably something that the locksmith needs to deal with. But I'm talking about metaphorical doors here. I'm talking about those opportunities that a lot of people might seem to just be given, okay? Because we see it all the time, right? We see, I think I was talking about this recently, actually, with someone. I don't think I've talked about it on the podcast yet, but quite often we can see in the rise of social media and fame and different things, a lot of small businesses are now going from absolutely nothing to overnight viral success, just overnight, because of one Instagram post or something on TikTok or something. And I think this is something I was talking to someone about recently, is that that's not normal, and I don't think we should normalize that, because that is incredible, but that is not a guaranteed tool. You cannot guarantee social media is going to make your business go viral, and even if it does, it doesn't mean that it's going to stay viral. Now, that is not to say if your business or anything goes viral, it's a bad thing. It can be an incredibly good thing. It could be a tool that you can use to your advantage. But my thoughts are on this is that there is no guaranteed way to make that work. There's no guaranteed way to make something viral, because the algorithm is a wildly unpredictable thing. But also, some businesses aren't meant to grow viral overnight. It's okay to take a long time, and I think that's something that some people can struggle with. I certainly struggle with, is running my own race sometimes and forgetting that, I can't measure myself to other people's rulers. I think we were talking about that in the last episode. How do we measure success? Some things, and we might have talked about this already, so forgive me if you're just hearing the same thing, but sometimes it doesn't take 10 days for something to go from 0 to hundreds of pounds. It might take 10 years, and that's okay, as long as you're enjoying it and you're walking in what you believe the Lord is calling you to do. I think that's more than okay. I think that's incredibly successful. So anyway, that was a little backfire off that. I think I completely got off track, but that's okay. I love rambling, so that's a good thing. So yeah, doors opening for people. So that's kind of off the back of that, of course. Are no doors opening for you? So yeah, what I'm talking about there is so often when we see stuff go viral, then all of a sudden these people are being invited to speak at big events. Their products are being in shops. Their stuff is getting launched further and further. And I think so often we can watch other people do that and watch other people grow their success and seemingly be handed opportunities and go, well, why don't I get that? And obviously my majority of experience is in the publishing world so far, and I see this all the time, okay? In fact, since before I was even particularly interested in writing books, I saw this all the time, is that whenever someone talked about books or that they'd written a book, everyone around them would go, I've always wanted to write a book. Same thing when someone says they've started a business, everyone goes, I've always had this idea for a business or something. So many people have these ideas, but the people who are actually entrepreneurs, these teenagers who are actually getting stuff done, are the people who are taking those ideas and turning them into a reality. And that's what we want to help you do here at Exodus Entrepreneurs, because so many of those people have had dreams since they were teenagers and have never been able to make it happen. Now that might be not because they didn't want to make it happen, but because it wasn't the right time to make it happen. And that is something that happens sometimes. But the majority of the time, I see people not doing that because of fear, anxiety, nervousness. We're going to talk more about that later in Self Sabotaging God's Perfect Plans for Us. But I did want to zoom into that a little bit. So anyway, I feel like so often we see other people be handed opportunities and grow their success. We see people, for me, I have always seen people speaking about their books and things on stage. I've seen people with their books in bookshops and always been like, I want that to be me. I want that opportunity. And for a while, I was waiting around for it. I think a lot of us do. Like, we wait around for those opportunities thinking, well, we're not quite big enough yet. We need another 10,000 more Instagram followers before we can think about that. Or we need at least 5 books out in the world. Or we need, we put like kind of self-restricting boundaries on ourselves. Again, this is kind of ties into self-sabotage, which is why I thought these two subjects go really well together. We see these opportunities and go, oh, well, I can't do that yet because I'm not big enough. I'm not quite there yet. When the time's right, the companies will reach out to me. No, that is the wrong mindset for most things. Now, there are exceptions to this, and because we are obviously championing a God-driven business, you need to pray about all of those things, because some of those opportunities are not ones for right now, okay? Some of those things you want to do are dreams that might not be for your business, they might not be for this business, they might not be for you in general. They might be things that God doesn't need you to do or want you to do. But if you're praying about stuff and you have like a deep desire that you believe God has given you to share, or this opportunity or dream that you believe the Lord's given you, and you're just sitting there waiting for it, even though you're doing things for your business, maybe you're sitting there and waiting for something to happen for you to be able to be given these opportunities. And well, sometimes people are going to reach out to you. Most of the time, if you want to work with someone bigger than you, you are going to have to reach out to them. And I think this is very hidden in like the general business world. And as I say here again, a little disclaimer, what I am suggesting here is not going to work for every business. I suggest you pray about it, check your rules and regulations and guidelines in your country. Check with your parents about whether they have peace about you doing this. Pray about it with people. Spend loads of time on whatever decision you make with the Lord, because you need to make sure you're doing the right thing for your business. But in my personal opinion, I think too often we are sitting down and waiting for an opportunity to come to us, when maybe if we want that opportunity, we have to chase it. I like to think about this similar to if you wanted to run a marathon, you would go and sign up for the marathon and then train for it. You're not going to be waking up one morning thinking, I'm going to run a marathon today, and then go and run it, okay? Maybe if you're a professional runner, you might, but you're still going to be training for it. You're not going to wake up one morning, roll out of bed after not doing anything for 6 months and go, I'm going to run a marathon today. No, that's not how we do things. At least that's not how I do things. Maybe some of you people out there like to run marathons just because they want to. But most people, you have to train for stuff like that. And that preparation process is is the same with when you're reaching out to companies and different things. So yeah, that's kind of a little bit of it. So I wanted to talk quickly about these opportunities. What am I talking about? So I think a lot of people call these opportunities like fate or coincidence. I wouldn't always call them that. Sometimes these opportunities are spiritually, like they're spiritual divine appointments. What I mean by that is, for example, I have been offered to talk about my book at a local Christian youth festival to me, not to talk about my book in general, but just to bring some of my books and just speak at this Christian gathering for young people. And I would consider that a divine spiritual thing where God has coordinated that for me, because it was something I wanted to do, but it wasn't something I had the confidence to reach out for at the time. Which is why it was such a great spiritually a really fruitful connection that the Lord made for me. And sometimes the Lord does create these opportunities for us. More often than not, He will initiate and coordinate them. But sometimes we need to reach out ourselves, and that's what the Lord has been encouraging me to do recently, is to reach out. And I think, these opportunities that other people are getting that grow their success, it seems like they're being handed these opportunities. What I'm talking about here are like exposure, brand deals, collaborations with other creators or entrepreneurs, speaking opportunities, interviews, connection, just like general networking and connections. And I think so often these kind of opportunities, they do look like they're like coincidence, or they were reached out to, or the company reached out first. But sometimes they're being asked for, and you don't realise that all the time, that sometimes these opportunities are being asked for. For example, I was just interviewed on a national radio, which was so exciting and definitely a God thing. But what was interesting is that I felt the push from the Holy Spirit to reach out to them. I didn't wait for them to reach out to me, because they might never reach out to me. You know, I think some people think, well, when I'm big enough, they'll reach out. Well, maybe they won't. You never know where they won't. And honestly, right now, that exposure is exactly what I need. I need that. I need as much exposure as I can. And I felt like the Lord saying that that was the right time to reach out to them. So I sent them a polite email asking whether they'd be interested in interviewing me. It took them 2 months, but they got back to me, and I was so thrilled that they didn't just... the best feeling is when they respond and don't say no. They say, we will talk about this with our team. They could immediately say no, and I know for a fact I have received responses. If they say no, they mean it. If they say maybe, then that means they are generally considering it. So that was great. I honestly feel like I'm rambling here, so I hope you guys get some sense out of this. But yeah, those kind of opportunities, I think so often we need to ask for them. Now, let's talk about asking for them, okay? So as I'm talking here, obviously go pray about it, go talk to your parents. If you have your parents around and they're helping you with your business, go talk to them. Otherwise, if you are older, definitely talk with people about it, okay? Talk with people about these opportunities, but don't be discouraged if you feel like the Lord is saying something and your parents and people around you don't necessarily agree. Make sure you're accountable to the Lord first. Okay, let's talk about opportunities. So in my example, I have literally, I'm just going to use myself as an example here. I have just a month ago released my recent book for young people, a non-fiction book helping them discover their calling. So what I need right now for that book is exposure. It is not selling well at the minute, mostly because I haven't done very much marketing. I'm trying to do marketing at the minute, but I'm so busy with GCSEs and things, it's just not happening. But I want to get this book, more than marketing, I want to get this book into the hands of people. I'm not bothered about it selling well. I just want young people to be encouraged by this. And because of that, I have dreamt about and would love the chance. I know that God's plan for this book is for me to speak about it. I know that interviews and connections and speaking opportunities are what I desire for this book and for me right now. For Words by E.R. Ware and Northbound Books, my business, that is kind of the niche that I am looking forward to at the moment. For Exodus Entrepreneurs, on the other hand, I'm looking at collaborations. Collaborations because I want to grow the audience that we have, and I want to encourage you guys, and also other audiences with stories of entrepreneurship. So if you're a teen with a business, a Christian business, well, it doesn't have to be a Christian business, but I'm looking for Christian teens with a business who want to do collaborations with us, because we would love to feature you on the podcast and talk a little bit about your business, how you're doing it, and whether you have anything to share with other teens your age. Okay. But as I said, with my most recent book, Unafraid, Unashamed, Unstoppable, I'm looking for speaking opportunities, interviews, and networking connections. So I was praying about that for a while, and I felt the Lord ask me to reach out. So I reached out to this Christian radio and asked them whether they'd be interested in interviewing me. I know, not the normal. I drafted up 2 emails, and I'm actually going to get them up and read them aloud so that you can kind of hear my thoughts on the subject. Okay, so I sent several emails to different organisations that the Lord pushed me to reach out to. Now, some of these are massive organisations that I wasn't even expecting to hear a response from. I am still waiting for a response from some of them. Some of them have said no, some of them have said maybe and have gone back to pray about it, and a couple have said yes, which is massively exciting. But basically, this is kind of like the structure of my email. I always send email. Make sure you look into the company first. Make sure you're praying over whether this is the right decision to do so. I actually pulled out of, decided not to email one of the top companies I had wanted to, even though they seemed like a great fit for me and my book. These, by the way, I'm talking about these people I have emailed are either radio interviews, like blog owners with blogs that feature stuff that's similar to my book. And also people hosting big like youth events. Those are kind of the people I was reaching out to. And I felt that one of them, the events that I was reaching out to, I just didn't have peace about it, so I actually didn't drop it. So make sure you are always in touch with what the Holy Spirit is calling you to do. Sorry, I have a bit of a cold today. With what you are doing. So yeah, anyway, let me read out a little bit of this email. So basically I started with hi and then insert, name or organisation, or sometimes I just do hi there. And then I did a little bit about me. So I was like, I'm Esther, this is what I do. I publish, because I'm talking about books, so I was like, I published my first book here, landed a publishing deal here. And then I was talking mostly, and then I broke the paragraph off and talked just about the main book. So this obviously could be shifted. You want to have a little bit of a personal introduction and then shift into like the more specific niche that you were targeting them for. So targeting sounds a bit fierce. I'm not actually targeting people. I'm just that just gives you a bit of an idea of the age, the grouping that I'm putting them in. So what I mean by that is that second paragraph, I'm talking because I'm reaching out to them asking for a speaking opportunity in this instance, a chance to speak about my book. I'm going to give them some information about my book, why the Lord gave me that book, etc. So I do a little bit about that, and then I do why I think I would be of use. So I'm like, this is a book I believe the next generation is in need of. I was wondering whether you'd be interested in having me to speak about the book or to discuss the importance and process behind how teens and young people can discover their calling. Okay, so that was like I've done my introduction, I've done this is like what my focus is on this, why I'm contacting you, and then I was wondering whether you'd be interested because of this. So this is like my target audience, and I think you meet it, and yeah. Then after that, I put like a little bit of like publicity I've had previously. So I've recently had an interview with this radio, and I'll also be speaking here and here with some of my books. And then I finish off with like a little bit about what I'm passionate about, a little bit more about me. So I'm like, I'm passionate about seeing teens set free to become all God desires them to be. And I love the opportunity to sow into a wider audience with the message that is this book I believe God's called me to share. And then I finish off the email by saying, let me know if this would at all be possible. And then, of course, this is really important. Make sure you put your contact information and things. So I finish off the email with, thank you for your time and consideration, Esther. And then at the bottom of the email, it says you can find more about me and my books at my website, and my website link, wordbyerware.com. I want people to be able to find everything they possibly need in that one thing, because people you are contacting are likely busy people, okay? They do not have time to go searching around for things. Put everything as easy as possible. So I put my Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, mailing list, and my website, plus the email. Do not forget the email, okay? Put the email at the bottom. It may seem over the top, but on the off chance that their email has glitched and won't show them the sender, you're going to want the email at the bottom. So make sure you put that there as well. So yeah, that's what I put in my opportunity request emails. And then I normally just put something like request for a speaking opportunity or something in the subject. My biggest advice with this is to make sure you pray about what God wants you to do with this. Don't rush it too much. Make sure you pray over it. Draft up an email and send it to a friend, family, trusted Christian peer. Get them to read it, ask them whether they agree with it, pray over it, sleep on it, and then send it. my biggest thing here is do not be afraid to send it. Okay, the biggest thing that can happen is rejection, and rejection seems like a massively big thing, and it is. I'm not downplaying rejection. Okay, rejection is a massive thing, but in this instance, rejection isn't actually that scary. Okay, if you get rejected, pick yourself up and try again. That is all I can say when it comes to opportunities like that. So yeah, whether you're looking for exposure, collaborations, brand deals, speaking, interviews, connections, etc., one word of wisdom. Well, I have many words of wisdom, I will let you know, but my particular one for this, collaborations. Okay, collaborations, make sure you are going with something that has the same values as you. This is especially important for Christian things. I would always recommend something has the same values as you, so make sure you check out their website wherever you can find them, make sure they have similar values. Try and make sure that it'd be beneficial to both you and the other side as well. I have some exciting collaborations coming up with Exodus entrepreneurs, in fact, so yeah, definitely stay tuned for that. And yeah, just have fun with it, because this is supposed to be so fun and exciting to grow your business. Don't put too much pressure on it. Enjoy it, have fun with it, find something you're comfortable with, and don't be afraid to put yourself out of the box, because honestly, I was so surprised at the amount of people who said thank you so much for reaching out, because we don't, like, the businesses, they have to find people otherwise, so it's easier if the people come to them. Okay, so yeah, I always pray when I send the email, and I just go, Lord, if I'm not supposed to do this, please let them not respond or tell me no. That is what I like to do. So yeah, okay, now I wanted to kind of move on to how often we self-sabotage our faith, and then give you a couple little insights into like a few little business topics at the minute. So yeah, how often do we self-sabotage God's perfect plan for us? Now, I believe that as we see in Ecclesiastes 7:29, which says, I found that God made man upright, but they have sought out many schemes. Now, this is something that I have been thinking about for a good couple of weeks recently. God's really been talking to me about how often people self-sabotage their faith. There might be a non-fiction book in the works about this one, guys. How often we self-sabotage his plans for us, because as we see in Ecclesiastes 7:29, it says that I found God made man upright. So when we see the word upright, to me that means that he's set our paths for us. Like, he's made us righteous and upstanding. He's made us a really prosperous, upstanding mirror of his own image. And then it says, but man has sought out many schemes. Now, what I personally, obviously this is all my personal opinion, what I personally translate this to, as it were, is that I see quite a lot of the time God has made plans perfect for us. And when I look back on my life in 50 years, I'm going to look back and I'm going to be able to see, for want of a better term, air quotes, the path that I took in life. And the path that God drew for me would have been perfectly straight, his narrow, straight, perfect path, and I would love it if I had mostly followed that path. But I know that at times I could look back and my path could be very, very crooked, and I don't know whether that analogy makes much sense, but what I think happens a lot of the time is that we end up sabotaging our own futures, because God has made these perfect plans for us, but we're too afraid, or we're not confident enough, we're not bold enough, we've got anxiety or worry about something, and because of that, we're not fearless enough to go and follow in those. We end up sabotaging our own futures. Now, this is something I'm going to definitely have to delve into another time, even deeper. But I think it's something we see a lot of the time, is that God has these plans for us, and we don't know the entirety of them. But we do know that they exist, we do know that they are big and beautiful and wonderful, but I think so often we go off piste. We don't ruin them, but we sabotage steps of our own future, and if we're not careful, we can ruin our own future by going in the wrong direction. And it's something that I think we need to be praying about more as believers, is that I don't think enough people have a realization of this, but God has already made our path for us. He has already cut the path. He's already taken the trees out of the way for us, so we can just walk in his goodness. And yes, as we all know as Christians, like, it's not always going to be easy, but we can walk in his goodness. We can walk in his prosperity, and our business can do that too. If he has called you to start your business and be an entrepreneur, he will have set the path for your business. I believe that he's set the path for mine. And so often, anxiety and fear might get in the way, and it means that we sabotage our own future and our business's future as well. And it's such a shame, because we have this prosperity, and yet us as people, as human flesh, so often we end up sabotaging that through fear. And what I mean by that is that we are too scared to press send on that email, or we're too scared to stand up on that stage and talk about what we are. I think it's important to be proud of what God is accomplishing through your business. I think it's also important to be humble and not to take that too far. As long as you're not boasting, though, I do think in a lot of circumstances, God wants us to be like, look at what he's done through this business. Look at what God is doing in this place. So yeah, those are my quick little thoughts on self-sabotaging, because I do believe a lot of us do it, and we don't mean to do it, we don't want to do it, but we just end up sabotaging our own future in some respects. And how can we combat this? I think the biggest thing is prayer. Constant prayer. Like, we need to be asking God, what direction are you taking me? What direction am I going? Am I going the right way? Am I going the wrong way? Because I don't know about you, but if I go the wrong direction, I know that I do not want God to have to wake me up because of tragedy or trauma. I do not want to have to be redirected because this sudden realization. I want to be listening already. I want to be ready to hear what he has to say. And I think it's not an easy thing, but I really I don't think any of us want to have to go through trauma to hear what he has to say. We want to be listening. And that's something that we have to practice. We have to practice listening. We have to practice not letting anxiety and worry get in the way. We have to practice being fearless, I think, in some respects. But yeah, I think combating self-sabotage is not easy, okay? Because so when something gets tough, I think a lot of us, we'd like to just crawl up in a ball and get into the fetal position and then just be flesh and blood for a bit. But yeah, I think it's hard to remember that the most precious thing we can do in that time, I think, is to remember that God has already created a straight path for us. We just have to follow it. So yeah, those are my thoughts on that. On the business side of things, we're going to be talking about money soon. We're going to be talking about money and tithe, and we're also going to be talking about email lists, because recently, obviously, GDPR rules have changed. So we're going to be going through GDPR email data collection rules and all of that, because it's a bit of a rocky topic, and I think we need to get some clarity on it. So yeah, we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about newsletters, email lists, professional emails, regular emails, and we're also going to be doing a part 2 of how to actually make money. So how to start your business, how to do it. So if you haven't watched the first one, listen to the first one. Go and listen to that, because the second one's going to be coming out hopefully in the next few months. As I said as well, we've got some exciting collaborations coming up. I cannot wait to share more with you, but it's going to be one collaboration is slightly more publishing themed, with an incredible young person-led publishing company called Faith of Flame Publishing. I'm so excited to share a little bit more about that in the coming episodes. But yeah, that's going to be coming out, I think, late June-ish. We're going to come out with that. But yeah, I cannot wait to talk more about all of these exciting business-themed things. But if you have any questions regarding business, do send us a little email. It's info@exodusentrepreneurs.com. You can also check out our website there. And I think we're going to be looking as well. I'd love to hear from you guys about your thoughts on business, on these topics. I would also love if you are a young person, a Christian who has started a business, I would love to hear about your thoughts, and potentially do a written interview on our Substack, on our newsletter list, or potentially if it worked out, maybe we could even do a little podcast interview as well. So yeah, I would love to hear about it, or even just if you were going to send in a little bit about your business, and then I could share about it on the podcast. So yeah, I would love to know who's listening, who whether you are encouraged by this, and I really hope you have an incredible weekend, week, whenever you're listening to this. I hope you have an incredible next couple of days, and yeah, let the joy of the Lord follow you, and remember that He has made your path